Here is a 2024 BMW X4 M Competition in dark graphite metallic over Tartufo extended merino leather. This is what you want to option if you don't want to go to a twin turbo V8 X6. And you're getting this under 100 grand. So when you're considering competition like Porsche, Audi, Mercedes, this is actually going to be faster. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and what makes this more unique is you can option it with the competition or without. So if you don't need the extra 30 horsepower and extra torque to get you a few tenths of a second quicker than the 3.9 seconds that comes standard, then you can save 7 grand. Me personally, I would option it. Full LED headlights that go into the gloss black elements that surround the kidney grille. X4M badging is going to be placed, and the competition package doesn't just add performance underneath, but you're also getting the active valve exhaust. 3.0 liter BMW M powered turbo inline 6-cylinder. That's going to produce a total of 503 horsepower, and yes, I said that correct. Because if you're going into the X6, the competition, you're getting 617 horsepower, but this is a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. 479 pound-feet of torque paired to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, which gets shifts just as quick as a dual-clutch automatic transmission that studies have proven. We get upgraded wheels. This is a 21-inch staggered setup, 255/40 up front, 265/40 out back. Black brake calipers are gonna house 6 pistons in the front. This is no joke. Vented, slotted, ready for performance. That's the disc. It's over 15 inches for the front and the rear. And sometimes I like to tell people about my pizzerias. Used to have one. I didn't sell a 15-inch, I sold a 16-inch, and these brakes are nearly the same for the disc, which is crazy. And you're still achieving 15 mpgs for the city and 20 mpgs for the highway. I get it. It's not gonna be something that's gonna sip fuel. But when you're at a 90 to 100 grand price tag, I think that's the least of your worries. You want this thing to be track to drive, and yet it goes against Porsche a lot harder because anything that would be in its class is going to be slower than this and less horsepower. Going into Mercedes, the GLE 63, either way it had to be a 63 variant, in which all of those are over 100 grand as well. Going against Audi, I mean, they don't have something that's in the same class as this. Go into the RS Q8 and you're getting nearly or right at the same 0 to 60, and yet that's a detuned, more or less Lamborghini engine. So what you're getting as value is pretty insane for this coupe vehicle, and yet it's still family oriented when it needs to be, or you could change the dynamics to make it more sport oriented with the adaptive dampers, X-Drive, which is the all-wheel drive, in which it sends 100% power to the rear wheel when needed. Push and hold it into track mode and it's going to open up and reveal what's basically the most powerful variant under 6 figures. It's not gonna sound like a V8, but I don't expect it to. LED taillights, trunk lid spoiler with the spoiler lip for the coupe design. The lower gets quad exhaust tips with the gloss black diffuser, front and rear parking sensors, and a 360-degree reverse camera, which when you're considering technology, that camera also has trajectory for the front, so if you're going to the car wash, you're not going to scratch these upgraded wheels. Power liftgate going into 18.5 cubic feet. It will sit up a little bit higher in the back because of the coupe design. 12-volt charger with bag holders next to it. Underneath the floor gets a spare tire. Split fold the rear bench. If you're tall like me, you can do it in the back at a 40-60 split or a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 50.5 cubic feet. You will lose a little bit from top to bottom because of the coupe design. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. Way power seat adjustment, heated, ventilated, perforated sports seats with the M that lights up or illuminates, and you get manual cushion extensions, memory for the driver, headroom and leg room The footwells in the X4 are deep. Driver focus setup, carbon fiber interior bits with the satin aluminum that's going to brush into the air vents on both sides. Heads-up display with a 12.3 infotainment screen with gesture, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, different driving modes. We have them. You get your sport, track when you push and hold, and you also have the M1 and M2 in the front, so you can tailor this, and you just click onto the menu here to configure the way you like it or how sporty you want it to be. Put it into reverse, and we have a 360-degree reverse camera with backup assist, full trajectory for the front and the rear. Click onto the car icon, and you got the 3D. You can use the gesture. You can simply touch, and you can use the iDrive to go all around it. When we click back onto the car icon, you have the car wash that'll show the trajectory so you do not scratch your upgraded wheels. Dual climate control settings. Underneath, gets the X4 M Competition badging with the gloss black elements that open up into a QI wireless charger, USB, 12 volt, and a key fob for the X4 M Competition. But you can also put it right in here. Because we have this, it's not going to go all the way. The digital key, gloss black elements, is going to surround with the iDrive. It's going to be more sporty. It opens up into a pretty deep storage pocket with the USB. Leather wrap steering wheel, M-Spec heated multi-function. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, the paddle shifts, and the stocks. When you click onto this BC, which is the top button here, you can go through an array of information for the driver in the gauge cluster. You can also change the layout design by changing the modes. And the same thing for the heads-up display. You'll have it where you can see the RPMs when you're in sport mode, or regular, you'll just see the RPM, the speed limit, and other sign recognition. Auto dimming rear view mirror and a large pano moonroof that goes to the midway of the back seats. Harman Kardon carbon fiber with the ambient lighting and the satin aluminum. It's going to be more sport derived, one touch up and down for all the windows, and a long storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out and a storage cubby for the driver. For the back seats, headroom is going to be good, and it's going to be exciting if you're a family that's going to be in the back because you have leg room. And when I'm 6'3" and I'm in the driver's seat, you still have legroom. Third climate control, heated rear seats, air vents, and USB ports. No storage, but you don't really expect that when you get into the M variants. Cup holders, which if you're using the armrest, you're gonna have to use it as an elbow rest. Flip that up for later, and the door is going to get the ambient lighting, carbon fiber, X badging with the satin aluminum, a long grab handle that brushes for a sporty armrest, and about the same size storage pocket as the front. Sitting into the center, the floor isn't flat, the rails are not pushed up enough, so you're going to be sharing some feet space, but it's still a wide vehicle. Butt and shoulder space will be shared as well. It does lip up a little bit, so it contours. Headroom for the center is going to be a little bit tight, but these seats also recline, which I believe I have it all the way back, so it's going to be tight for anyone over 6 foot. 503 horsepower, perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Here we go. Hugs the road. Feels good too, very athletic. I like the exhaust note that filters in. Oh, it's nice. And now we're gonna stop here so you can see the 503 horsepower in that 0 to 60. I'm liking what I hear. Do you need the V8? Is the big question to start off with first. Not really, because the 0 to 60 numbers are just as quick, if not faster. Just hugs the road. Smooth. It's a symphony for the exhaust. Now obviously everything is extra. You're gonna pay for it, but you're getting what you pay for is key. The confidence that you have behind the wheel with BMW just sets itself apart, especially because they make the vehicle, dynamically speaking, the best in class. They give you more than enough horsepower, and I hate to say it, but this might be too much of a bite for most buyers, because when you get into the standard X4, you're getting 248 horsepower. It sounds like it's a huge difference, and it kind of is. It's a 6-second 0 to 60 car. You're not buying that one necessarily to put it on the track, but I would say go first for the M40 to see if it's enough power for you, because when you start going into the M and then you go competition, it does liven up and it is an extreme amount of power. Anything under 4 seconds 0 to 60 is right at track ready. You can do a lot with this vehicle, and 6 pistons in the front. The service on it's going to be expensive because these are Brembo brakes, so expect to spend around $1,000 or more. But again, at a 90 to 100 grand price, like I was saying on the exterior, I don't think you're going to be so disappointed with that. And services itself, around 250 bucks for an oil change. You're gonna feel some of the imperfections, but you're also expecting that. M adaptive dampers, upgraded wheels, the styling with this color combo, it's something that I personally would choose if I was looking to get an X4. It's gonna take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is the obvious value that I've explained on the exterior and on the interior, because it just really is a lot. Anything over 500 horsepower is more than enough. You're going to be excited every time you start this car and when you are engaged in it. Some other pros is you still have some of the most cargo in class comparing to rivals. For the door pockets, there isn't any storage beyond the back seat, which is a con, but in the same perspective, this is an M. With the competition, $7,000 to me can be a con, but when I'm thinking about overall value, 30 horsepower more, a few tenths of a second quicker, I mean, that's a give or take for the person, whoever's looking to option it. I don't like the infotainment screen that comes out of the dash. I've said this multiple times on the BMW variants, and you're not getting the iDrive 8, which I know that can be a concern to buyers, but it is what it is. The refresh has already been done with this. I'm expecting to see the iDrive in the next variant, meaning a 2025, which could make this kind of one of those deals at the end of the year if you're looking to get your feet wet with a true M classic vehicle. Now, it's not going to have as much power for pound-feet of torque comparing it to the X6, but that's a twin-turbo V8 also. So the soundtrack is going to be a lot more in the interior. Both of them will have pretty decent sound deadening. When you go up to that variant, spending the extra 20, 30 grand, it's going to be a lot more improved for the drive, for the sound deadening. But the seats are going to be a little bit more firm than this. So I like that you still have a daily use sit, but you still have so much performance whenever you actually need to push it from red light to red light. Over 7 inches of clearance, and when you're thinking an SUV to be dynamically speaking better than a sedan or a sports car, that's insane. Going into the rivals, for Mercedes, it's gonna be over 100 grand any way you cut the cake. Porsche, it's gonna be in the high 90s, and then it will go over $100,000 whenever you spec it out the same specs as this. Audi, you have to go RSQ8. One of my favorite variants, you're talking $150, and that's gonna not even get the black optic package, so it's not gonna look as dynamic as this. It's really hard to put any car in its class. Volvo doesn't make something that has this much performance in a 0 to 60 number. You get the recharge, it's quick, don't get me wrong, and I love them. But this is a different animal, and you're not going plug-in hybrid. The big problem that I have is you do have to pay $7 grand for the competition. And yes, it's not just 30 horsepower. You get the active exhaust, you get the seats. You're going to get a few features that's thrown in, not just performance numbers and a few tenths of a second quicker 0 to 60. So it is something to consider. You get the upgraded wheels also, but again, $7 grand. It's hard to swallow for me because they used to do this with the M8 Competition, and then a couple years down the road, they gave it to a standard. It's like a car in an SUV that's lifted up. The steering has some weight to it. You can loosen it up for your everyday drive. Turn radius, gonna get about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's truly a specialty to get over 500 horsepower, and yet it's still an everyday blend vehicle. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2024 BMW X4 M Competition for our car review.